Yeah. So, and then like we mentioned earlier, the last thing I want to talk about before getting into our canon discussion is the rather untimely passing of comic artist Steve Dillon. Dillon is best known as the co-creator and artist for Preacher. He also did runs on Punisher and Hellblazer, among a significant amount of other books. And
So
unfortunately,
he's best known to me for Preacher, and he does the pencil. He's listed as the artist for Preacher, and yeah, it very very untimely and sad death.
yeah, it was 54. And
do you know what actually happened?
No, and that's kind of interesting. That people have been very quiet about like what happened. Like details have not been released.
Mm-hmm.
That I always think like one of two things, either suicide or drug overdose, and usually the drug overdose comes out quicker. So
yeah,
I
mean, depending upon the person. I mean, when Darwin Cook passed away, we didn't know Darwin Cook was even sick until he was in hospice care, and he was dead within a week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I respect any family that tries to keep those details to themselves. It's hard to live in the public eye, but I really hope that whatever it was quick, it was painless. Yeah, and I feel for his family.
Yeah, I mean, the man's just a very talented artist. I mean, Preacher.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the things I enjoy most about Preacher is, especially because it's Garth Ennis, that Preacher's a very graphic book.
Yeah.
But at no point did I ever really feel it was gratuitous. Like, the violence and whatnot in the book fit the story without going overboard. It accurately portrayed what Ennis was getting at, but it didn't seem like they were just being violent for violence sake.
Yeah, you always got to cut someone's nuts off in a Garth Ennis story, and they definitely did that.
Yep.
Trying to see if I can find that. Someone's nuts has always got to get chopped off. Where's the...
That actually made it into the show too. If you guys have either of you seen the show yet?
No.
No, I'm way behind on that.
It totally made it into it.
Yeah, when Jesse tells the guy to go fuck himself.
Oh no, this is when Jesse shoots the guy's dick actually off.
No.
Yeah,
and he's like carrying it around in his hands. It's hilarious. I mean, also cringeworthy. Like in the cringing and personal almost pain, like phantom pain, that kind of cringing, but also hilarious.
No, I was thinking
because the guy's in shock. He's like wandering around.
I was thinking of, I think it's the end of the first trade when Jesse has the voice of God and he tells the guy to go fuck himself, and then realizes that he may need to be careful with the words he chooses when using the voice of God.
Does he ever
Well, actually,
take it
I'll
back?
talk about the scene there. So in the first trade, the first I did a review on this one. The first trade is like two separate books, right? Where it's like you deal with the main story, and then there's this side story where they go to New York. That is actually pretty terrible. It's a really dumb. It has nothing to do with the story. Like if you want to talk about gratuitous, that story was gratuitous. But there's a part, the very page 160 at the very bottom, where there's these investigators. They're looking for a serial killer. And the guy gets like a doggy bag, and he goes up to the woman, and he asks, "Is this your husband's scrotum?" Showing her the inside of the bag.
Nice.
So someone's got to get their nuts chopped off in a Garth Ennis story, but it's way more graphic in Punisher than it is in Preacher.
Yeah,